So what's really been sort of alive is identity. Identity to money. So I really want to do a podcast around that because people have so many attachments to money and to who they are as a result of the money in the bank account or lack thereof. We can call it something like that. I think Tyler will even be able to come up with a good title. That's a really good hook. And so I guess the inspiration for this one is I've just been in conversation with a few people, and because I'm planning a pretty big community project. And it's very exciting. But at the same time, it's really daunting because if I then go and invest into this community project, it's like people's identities around money come out and they project it onto you. And, for years, I've had people hate, criticize, defame. One of the comments last week was like, you know, my business metrics course is fraudulent and people are still paying me millions of dollars. And, you know, so I don't really, I'm not affected by those comments. However, it raises a very important discussion because when I look at other successful women, because I'm surrounded by successful people, I'm surrounded by people at all levels, but I have friends, colleagues, associates, professionals, other people around me that are just as successful, if not more successful than I am. And what I notice continuously in discussion with other successful humans is there's no judgment. There's no competition. There's no, like, successful people want other people to be successful. It's like if I said to you, hey, check out my new car. I think even I did have someone comment on a post and like going, oh, driving around in your Range Rover. And I was like, dude, that Range Rover costs like 30 grand. It's just this perception that people have around Range Rovers. And I got it because, yeah, I wanted to have a Range Rover. Do I have that Range Rover now? No. Am I going to tell you what car I do have? Fuck no. Like, but it's like people's perception around money. And usually, if I said to you, hey, I got a new car, you can tell a lot by someone based on their response. And
Yeah.
it's not going to be the manufactured response, it's the true response. So they may not speak it. In my recent history, people speak their thoughts to me, which is beautiful. Thank you for showing me where you're at. But it's that natural response. And, if I said, hey, I got a new car, and you said, oh, wow, that must be so nice. Oh, congratulations, Abby. Like, just enjoy it. You deserve it. You've worked so hard for that car. Like, congratulations. It must feel nice. Has it got the new car smell? Oh, I just love that new car smell. That's so nice, right? You're just genuinely happy. And then there's some people that will be like, oh, yeah, but you don't own that car. Did you get a loan? The bank owns that car, right? And they're very critical or judgmental. And I'm not new to this. I grew up with a very criticizing family. Like everything I did, positive or negative, had a negative connotation to it, had a criticism, had a condemn. Like this is stuff I've lived and breathed. And do you know what? I was so critical of myself for 30 years. So wildly critical that no one could say anything to me that I hadn't already said to myself. And it was funny because then when the things that you do say to yourself then start getting repeated to you in your reality, you're like, oh, fuck, I said that. Is it really true? Holy shit. But anyway, so the whole point is when someone's judging or criticizing, it's actually got nothing to do with you. Like that judgment or criticize, like I just got a new car. I love my car. I actually didn't get a new car. I've got the same car that I've had for years and this is just an example, right? But have you ever noticed that whenever you do something good for yourself and you share it, the critics come? So I'm like on this precipice where, wow, I can't wait to build this community project. But then I'm afraid because I don't want to be named to it. I don't want to be seen doing it. I don't want to be like I want to do it silently and in the background and have other people as the face. So because I don't want the haters to tear it down. What kind of world do we live in where someone wants to do something good for community but feels they can't because it'll get condemned in some way? When someone has that attachment or identity to money, right? It can be conscious or it can be unconscious. So you've got the conscious, right? The conscious haters who just want to tear it down. They don't give a fuck. They just want to tear it. Anything you create, they'll condemn. And it's just this nasty energy of projection because their life is so miserable that they cannot possibly conceive that you have any level of success because they deserve it. You don't, because of the villain they've created of you in their mind, right? That's so consciously. But then there's unconsciously where it's like people going about their day and going about their life and their business. And I think I used to be in this because I didn't have conscious judgment, but I had unconscious judgment where I would look at people that I valued, that I loved, that I cared about, and I would nitpick, right? And I wouldn't like gossip or, but I would nitpick for myself. I would like pick at what they're doing. And I actually turned it around and made this a, a positive in my own gift. But I realized that when I was nitpicking someone else's world, I was being ignorant to my own. And you cannot move beyond that without owning what it is that you're rejecting. You have to own it. And I had this huge realization that one of the little nitpicks that I had. And I did it from love, right? I was like, oh, I don't agree with that person. I fucking love them so much. And I honor their journey and I can see what they're doing and I love it. And and I wouldn't say anything negative, but in my own mind, I was nitpicking because I was like, they sold their soul to the devil for money. That's essentially what I was saying. And I was like, they selling themselves short for the sake of money. They are giving up their legacy, because I could see what their legacy, what their vision is. I have just this thing where I can see it for people. And I was like, no, don't do that. You're giving up your gifts for what? MLM? Are you serious? I was like, that's okay. That's your journey. It ain't mine. Until I was so honest with myself and was like, you know what? That's not God. The only reason I'm nitpicking is because I'm doing the same thing. Where am I selling myself short for the sake of money? Where am I, negating my gifts and my talents for the sake of the bank? Because we have these attachments to these identities that we create around money. And whether you receive money or you don't, whether it's because you have it or because there is a lack thereof, I've been on both ends of the spectrum, in the lack thereof and then in the having of. And none of it matters because it's still the same. It's got nothing to do with the money and everything to do with you. Money is dead. There is no energy in money. Money just flows to the path of least resistance. Money will land in your bank account if you give it the systems and the structure for it to get there. If you deliver on the value to humanity, it will expand and grow more. But then in that delivery, who are you and what do you do? And that's the true currency. So other successful people know what it takes to create and know what it takes, what it's like to lose as well. And I even see some business owners who create massive financial success, but it's built on shaky ground. And they think that just because they earn, 300K months, that they're invincible. But if that is built on shaky ground, you can lose it just as quickly as you made it. So I think the mentality around the haves and the have not is what creates a massive divide. Because the people that don't have or have never had put these projections or these pedestal on the people who have created. And really, the people who've created and have the value, they just want everyone to do the same. They celebrate and champion other people doing the same and want to help. But then there comes in the have-nots or the lack thereof, and that mentality of like, well, you've got it and you should give it to me. Or, I've even seen people who will, just because you earn a certain amount of money, people will inflate their prices. Oh, She makes a lot of money, so I'm going to charge double or even triple. And that is building on shaky ground too, because if you're not in integrity with your pricing, you'll lose the business. I promise. You'll lose it because people know when you're having a lend. So when we make these decisions around money and the identities that we have attached to these money, it just laces the action, right? It laces your behavior with like that energy of, well, am I a have or a have not? Am I, do I celebrate others' success or do I condemn it? Do I publicly celebrate others' success and then silently, quietly sit in the background and go, I deserve. Do you know everyone deserves? Everyone. There's not a single person on the face of this planet that does not deserve to have infinite wealth. But the difference between the haves and the have-nots is the ability to manufacture and co-create or alchemize that material wealth. It's in the doing of it, right? So when you see someone else doing the thing and you're not doing the thing, it's triggering. And blah, let's project. Or blah, she makes lots of money. I'm entitled to that. Yeah, of course you're entitled to it. Everybody's entitled to it if you want to be really altruistic about it all. So today I want you to sit with what identity do you really have with money? Or let's look at it like who is someone out there in the world who has the success, the financial success that you desire, and how do you feel about them? Now, a lot of people will spiritually bypass and go, well, I really love Gary Vee. He's got lots of success and list all the wonderful qualities. Okay, now let's not bypass and go to the person that you love. Go to the person that you hate. Because the person that you're criticizing and condemning, the person that you're hating for whatever reason, now write down those qualities. Why? Why are you hating on that person so much? What is it that they're displaying that you so desperately hate? What is that? And now, when you look at the list of the things that you hate about that person, we can mirror. Oh, this is a beautiful process because those things that that person is expressing are actually activators of the quality of the opposite within you. You hate them so much because that's a quality that you don't like because inside of you is the opposite. So if you hate that person because she's really fake, it's because you actually like truth and integrity. And that's a quality inside of you that you're not expressing. And you hate them so much because they're expressing that quality and you're not. See the beautiful mirror? So when I was criticizing this woman that I love so much, oh, I actually love her so much. Like she is such a shining light. And I never said anything bad. I've always never, I don't gossip. Gossiping blocks my throat chakra. Anyone comes and gossips to me, I tell them to shut the fuck up. So it was just like this really nuanced little space of like, the thing that I was criticizing is because she was expressing the very thing I was rejecting, sharing my gift unapologetically. Ah, what a beautiful awareness. So if you can have a look, and it doesn't mean it doesn't have to be someone that you hate, right? But there's a lot of people out there harboring a lot of hate that is not transmuted. So my beautiful intention for you today is transmute beyond that hate and see that they're just a meat suit playing a role to assist you in your ascension if you choose to step through that gateway. If you choose not to, that's okay as well. But if you want to break down these stories and patterns and cycles with money, you got to get real with yourself. Really real. Really real, not the bypassy fake real, like, oh yeah, you know what? Sometimes I judge people. That's okay. No. What's those deep, dark secrets? Those things that you say that you would, God forbid, ever say them out loud. Now, some people choose to say those things out loud and spit their venom and hate all over the world. Here's a beautiful suggestion for those on the receiving end of that hate, because I know from personal experience, when you're a leader, when you make impact, when you make bank, people project their shit on you. So how do you keep going? How do you keep moving? How do you ignore it? First and foremost, one, you need to accept that you're human, and what other humans say to humans hurts. I don't care how evolved you think you are, it hurts. Whether they're someone that knows you or not. People who are complete strangers saying shit about you hurts. So you have to accept that hurt and move through it. Why are you hurt? It doesn't matter where it came from. It's in your reality. Why are you hurting? Now you need to move through it. Is it true? No. Okay, cool. Are we going to listen to it? No. Are we going to change anything we're doing? Here. If you hear hate or criticism and then you go and scurry about and try and change everything you do to suit that hater, you are going to be forever living a life of people pleasing, and you will burn out and you will tire yourself out and you'll be forever chopping and changing to suit every individual who has a different opinion. Oh, that's exhausting. So you have to ignore it on that level. You don't have to respond to the hate. You don't have to. Just because someone says that they don't like something about you doesn't mean you have to change it. Doesn't mean it's true. It's a reflection of them. And when I learned to stop changing things based on people's reflections or based on people's opinions, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. Who gives a fuck, right? Are you at my round table? Yes, I care about your opinion. Are you at my round table? No. Then fuck off. You don't know me. Politely, respectfully, fuck off. Am I going to change what I'm doing to suit you? Hell no. You don't like it? Okay. Sorry. Bye. Sorry, not sorry. That's your experience. Bye. Do I know who I am? Yes. Do I have good intentions? Always. Do I want to help people? Completely. Do I ever want anyone to have a bad experience? No way. Does that stop people from having bad experiences? Not at all. Because there's this other side of the coin of when you so desperately don't want to be seen as something, right? So it's like we so badly hate fake people. We don't want to be seen as being fake. And when we reject that part of ourselves, we actually then overcompensate. And then in that overcompensation, we're putting out the energy of fakeness. So then everyone sees fakeness because we overcompensated. So you really just come back to like peace, balance, and harmony in who you truly are. You don't need to overcompensate. You don't need to try and be anything that you are not. You just need to own who you are and love and accept that. And know that half the room is going to love you, half the room is going to hate you. Who cares? I think that money truly brings out the best and the worst parts of people. It really does. This is why relationships fight about money all of the time because it's their projections. It's their identity attached to money, their belief systems, and their projections. Bring money problem, bring shame, guilt, unworthiness to the forefront, and then the relationship will break down because of it. And they'll say that, oh, we had money problems and, we went our separate ways. Really? You had self worth problems. Really? You had problems with self esteem. Really? Someone wasn't feeling confident. They're the real problems that you're facing in those relationships, not money problems. Every single person that I have worked with on their money blocks, because let's just call it, really, it's emotional. It's emotional blocks, but we'll just call them money blocks. Self worth, high self esteem, confidence. I actually seen someone talking about money blocks the other day, and they were being like, talking about it's a shame block, it's a guilt block. And I was like, no, we don't have shame blocks. We have shame. We don't have shame blocks. The block is always the positive, right? You're not blocking a negative, you're blocking the positive. You've got shame that is blocking your worth. You've got shame that is blocking your confidence. You have shame that is blocking your self esteem, your value. You don't have a shame block. Does that make sense? All these people going around talking about money blocks, right? And like, even this is an outsourcing of your power. It's like, I can't make money because I've got money blocks. I can't make money. I'm not receiving in my business because I've got a block, I've got a poverty block, or I've got a poverty mentality, or my parents grew up in poverty, so I grew up in poverty. I look at all of these people talking about these things and it's like, past. The minute you outsource your problem to the past, game over. You're done. You're never going to fix it. You never, ever, ever, ever. Nothing can ever be fixed, healed, or transcended from the past or the future. It always happens in the now. So if you keep saying that you've got all of these blocks outside of yourself in the past, how do you think you're ever going to embody or alchemize in the now? It's not possible. And I say, I'm like, oh, and I just feel like going, oh, honey. It's literally the spiritual community that's got you outsourcing your fucking power to these stupid money blocks. You don't have a money block, you've got a you block. You. You're blocking yourself now. You. It's you. I guess you can't really fully get it until you experience it. Because I'm not rejecting or negating these spiritual communities or spiritual processes because it does have a very powerful place. And it's that awareness place. It's the place of being aware of a block, aware of something that is limiting, and that is beautiful. But so many times I just see people living in the block and recycling it. And then anytime anything happens in their world, it's that block's fault. Oh, that's just because I have a poverty block. That's why that keeps happening. So, if we actually want to move beyond the awareness of your money problems, right, it's not going to take one podcast. It's not going to take, like, it takes more. It's going to take learning, it's going to take education, it's going to take understanding the truth of who you are, the good, the bad, the ugly. It's like peeling back layers of identity, and it's shadow work, and it's empowerment and stepping into your power, and it's pendulum swinging from complete disempowerment to over empowerment of enforcing that many boundaries that I'm literally the most hardest bitch to deal with because I've got that many boundaries. Because you have to do that at one point, right? When you realize you've had a whole life of people pleasing and no boundaries, you then enforce a boundary at every possible location, and then people just can't even deal with you because you're so, I've never had boundaries and now I've got a boundary everywhere. And then you relax and you're like, oh, you know what? Maybe that was a little bit unrealistic. Mm. It's a journey of self discovery and owning. Right? So whether you're the have or the have not, whether you're the light or the dark, we're just all of it, and we get to enjoy the ride because there's no end goal. Like there's goals, but it's like there's success never ends. Like you don't get to a point and go, oh, I'm successful, I'm just going to stop existing now. Existence is for your whole life. So you just have every now moment of the rest of your whole life to be successful and to have everything that you desire, which means up-leveling your identity in each step of the way, not negating previous identities. Oh God, I loved the people pleasing version of Abby because she just cared so much about everyone else. She really did. But at what cost? I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. True to my form, there was a few different tangents there. Should we do a little, yeah, should we do a little like, if you want to work with me around your money? I don't know. If you want to work with me around your money blocks, I'm actually not going to take you through any of the spiritual woo woo money clearing, emotional clearing shit to begin with. It's my business metrics because I start where all the triggers come up. And if you can't even look at your bank account and you can't even track your numbers, that's where it starts. Maybe I'll see you there.